Hello, welcome back to another video on astrology. About 11 months ago, I had started a series on Karma and Astrology. I've done part 1, 2, 3 and 4 and this is the 5th episode. And the subtitle of this video is Buddhih Karma Anusarini. Your mind works according to karma. That is the meaning of this title. And in this episode, I'll be just covering this portion. And in case you haven't watched part 1 or up to part 4, if you have not watched my previous episodes on this series, please watch them, because especially part 1, I think you should not miss it. So let's discuss this in detail. There is karma separately, and there is astrology, and then there is the mind. So we are trying to interrelate all of them together. If you look at karma, karma is just a simple, Newton's, something like Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So whatever you have done in the past life will eventually come back to you, whether you have done good or bad. If you have done good, good comes to you. If you have done bad, bad comes to you. As you sow, so you reap. All this everybody knows. The question is, who is running karma? At least for the individual person. So we have different theories, or it all depends on where you come from, to which religion you belong. So you have different views on this topic. The point I'd like to convey is that the karma is actually your karma is not created by God. Everything else is created by God except your karma. And your karma is actually created by you through your mind and actions put together. Because mind, thoughts leads to action. So they're usually one pair. In most cases, if you want to find out why something you have done, then you will always be able to find out that is because you made a decision to do it. So it is said that the mind is actually the agent of karma. So if you want to change your karma, you have to change your mind, or alter your mind, or modify your mind, or subdue your mind. So this is the essence of spirituality, where even the Buddha said clinging is one of the most negative aspects of our mind. So to decling, to get rid of the clinging, there is meditation. There is the method of prayers, as in Hinduism or any other religion. The prayer method works wonderfully well because you try to get rid of a habit that you have created. And we have also the situation that there is karma actually trying to give you these results, and there is resistance from our side, where each one's individual said, no, I don't want this result. It's like, I didn't study well, so I'm actually angry with the system, not understanding that this I have created myself. So we have a situation when somebody tries to help us out during a problem. We also tend to resist, receiving help. And that is because the habit that we created from the past life is so strong that to come out of that habit takes a lot of effort. It's not easy to give up a bad habit. And most people, if they have developed a good habit also, you'll notice that they are always good. They maintain the same habits. So somebody has a very, disciplinarian, works very hard, that will be his character. That is the character that he developed in his past life. So when you see his habit or mind, it will actually coincide with karma, because the karma that he now has in this life is based upon what he has done before through his mind. So, but if you take away astrology or the concepts of astrology, and let's say you don't bring in any philosophy, people will still be able to understand and tell many things about why this person is doing well and why this person is suffering. So if you, for example, they'll say, look at this man who's so successful. He's he's a hard worker, but you may not realize that even that the character, the type, the attitude, the hard-working attitude the person has, actually comes from karma. So on the other side, if a person is not working, lazy, let's say, as in when Lagna is occupied by Saturn, and let's say Saturn is afflicted, then the person tends to be lazy. Now, if this is what is indicated in the horoscope, the person will tend to do that. That's not because Saturn sat there, or it is it's done to him by somebody else, an external agent. He has created this environment around himself by his past life you know, actions, which was a result of his the way he used his mind. And the same thing is continuing even in this birth. That's all. So you need an outsider to come and tell you, see, look, this is your problem, and you need to actually, if you want to end this, then this is the method. So in Parashari text, you will find after let's say Maharishi Parashara says, if this planet is the lord of the second or the seventh, then you have to do Mrityunjaya Homa, otherwise there will be physical distress. Or sometimes in certain cases he says premature death is possible. And then he goes on to tell that you will have to do Mrityunjaya Homa. Let's say if it is Saturn, then he says give away a black cow in charity. All this. Now what is actually being done here is the mind is trained to give up a cow. 5,000 years ago, a cow is the most important thing that the person possessed, at least in India. So their wealth was, measured by the number of cows one had. So giving away a cow is not so easy. So giving away, parting with your money is so difficult. That is because you are clinging to money. You want it for yourself. And because you had such a great longing for money, it led you to the wrong path and you got into trouble because of that. So to undo the past life mistakes, there are two methods. Both the methods must be followed at the same time. There is the method of God and mantras and chanting, which directly works on the mind, which is the best way to start doing it. And then next is you'll have to also start paying back to undo whatever you have done in the past, because it has translated into action, and whatever has translated into action has to be reversed by the very same kind of action. So if you have taken money and not given it back, then you need to give it back in this birth. So sometimes you find some people have what is called a payback life. All the money they earn continuously goes away to someone else. And there are many methods for this to happen. So take for example Muhammad Ali. He was earlier called Cassius Clay, a small boy, 12-year-old boy, and after 3 years of saving money, he finally manages to buy a bicycle, and he lost his bicycle, and so he went to a police station to register a complaint, and fortunately for him, the inspector was not there. You will soon come to understand why I said fortunately for him, the inspector was not there. So then when he inquired where is the inspector, they told him that he is in a gym, please go there, and that dress is here, please go. And Cassius Clay went there, knocked the door, and the door opened. And the inspector said, what do you want? But as the door opened, Muhammad Ali saw all the boxers, boxing, and he was captivated by what he saw. He could not take his eyes off. And the inspector said, look, I'm here, what do you want? He didn't reply. The third time he asked, he said, yeah, I come to register a complaint. I lost my bicycle. But even when he said this, he turned and started looking at the boxers. Because something in him wants him to be there, because he already has Mars in the 10th house. In own house, Mars in own house, in Mula Trikona in the 10th house, being the Yoga Karaka and being extremely strong in Sadhana. So many plus points for him. So he has to become the warrior, the fighter. And so the opportunities come quite naturally to these people. And you know the rest of the story. The inspector said, okay, I'll teach you boxing. That's where it all started. So in the same way, you will find some other events leading a person to prison. So if you rewind, you will always find that the agent of karma is nobody else. It's not God, it's not anything else in this world except your own mind. That is the meaning of, that's why we said Buddhih Karma Anusarini. In accordance to. Anusarini means in accordance to. So, if you really want to subdue your karma, then you'll have to actually work on your mind, meditation, prayer. But for the less maybe motivated, the less people who are not so spiritually inclined, we have a middle path wherein Maharishi Parashara said, please do this, and then you will notice that the trouble is decreasing. So this is the actual essence of astrology. Like you want to find out what's actually going wrong, and you want to do something to overcome it. So a serious astrological consultation starts only if you want to go and find out and you want to find out what's happening. So this is my horoscope. Dear astrologer, please look at it and tell me what's going on. It doesn't happen when a mother reads the horoscope of a child, which is most often the case in my consultation. So when I ask them, where is your son, where is your daughter? No, he doesn't believe. Right? Now he's not going to listen. So he's going to have his own way. And his own way would be actually what is there in the chart. So it gets very difficult for us to consult for a person who has no belief in astrology. If they believe in God, then it could be the path. Maybe they can pray and get rid of these problems. Even that is possible, like as it is said in every religion. But if you're coming into astrology, then we have a very clear-cut method. Now these are your plus points, these are your negatives, and this is the method to conquer the negative points. In most cases, I've seen that when a bad period starts, just prior to that, there was a good period, and the person is doing very well. And exactly at the time the change happens, the person decides to change his whatever he has been doing. He quits his job and starts a business. But later he comes to know from his own horoscope that he was not meant to be an entrepreneur, not a businessman, a business person. That is for only few people, maybe 25% or 30% of the world. If you see, only they can be business persons. The rest can't, because that is how the system is. We all can't be the captain of the team. There must be players, the other players to form the team. So if a boss is there and he requires a lot of employees. So if all the employees have the luck to become a boss, then the system will not work. So in case there is a health problem, which is already predestined condition in the horoscope, like 6th Lord in the 8th or 8th Lord in the 6th, could be, and along with Lagna Lord being in 6, 8 and 12, it's a typical combination for cancer. And if you start investigating, you will find out that the person had an extraordinary craving for all those foods that are known to cause cancer. But in some cases, you also find that the person did not have, but anyway the cancer came due to the past life, something very big had happened. So it can also come like that. But if you investigate and if you find that, see, look, you are going to have this problem, and you better, start only, get the knowledge of antioxidants and free radicals and keep off maida and all those things. No, they'll immediately tell me, I like maida foods a lot. I like biscuits, I like parotas, I like this and that. They are so dear to me, so don't tell me don't touch it. So we have an issue during consultation, because on one hand we are trying to change karma, which is actually we are trying to change the person's mind, and there is a huge resistance to it. So once it happened that I found that the person might get lung cancer. There's nothing very definitive about astrology, it's only a tendency type. So most probably it is going to have, because there were serious afflictions on his 5th house, Rahu in the 5th, and some other bad planets influencing other factors, which just I concluded that he might get cancer. Until then it was just about, sort of indicating. But when he told me, can you give me a 5-minute break? I asked him why. He said, I have to smoke. I can't stay here without smoking. I can't stay for long without smoking. And then when he came back, I asked him, how many cigarettes you smoke per day? He said, around 40. Then I told him that, look, already there are some indications in the chart which is showing that an upcoming Rahu Antardasha is there, and if you might get cancer, I'm not very sure about it, but most probably you might. And now that I know that you smoke a lot, there is a great possibility. Why don't you quit and start examining your lungs, all that you can do to prevent. And I also gave him some prayers and mantras, and I gave him some Ayurvedic ideas, tips, in case his lungs are already damaged. So I know a little bit of Ayurveda, so I gave him those things. He said, no, nothing has ever happened to me, even though I smoke 40 cigarettes a day. So I'm sure nothing is going to happen, and let's forget this topic, let's move on to another topic. And 5 years later, I came to know that he had developed lung cancer. You can always argue, like you can say, no, Mr. Dhilip, that is because he was destined to have it, and that's why he had it. It's very difficult to answer this question. If you look at Brihat Parashara Shastra, you will see certain things like, if you do this, then this will not happen. Now that itself is a proof that the future is still modifiable. You can change it. Not that it will not be, you can't change it at all. So I've always been telling my clients and my those whoever has come to me for advice, I'll say that if you want to change the future, you must first know what is possible in the future. Only then you can work upon it. And in most cases, astrology works like this. We have disbelief itself as one of the tools by which the correct information doesn't come to the person. So you find that most people who have bad planets in the 5th and 9th house, and 5th and 9th all afflicted, they tend to atheism. They won't believe in God, they won't believe in astrology, God, gurus, all of that, whatever could have guided them. Even Rahu can add fuel to fire in this, because Rahu is the disobedience planet. So every Rahu dosham is actually a disobedience, hinting at disobedience or going out of the way, not the normal path, poison and so on. So if we find very difficult to convince them, they say, no, I don't believe in all this. So when we say, you please, at least can you do this? No, I can't do it. Do you have time for this? No, I'm very busy. Or I don't believe in remedies. There was a person who came, as soon as he sat in front of me, he said, I believe everything in astrology except the remedies. It's like going to a doctor and telling them, I believe whatever you say, but I don't believe in the power of the medicine. Just don't give me any medicine. So we have situations like this. So we feel that karma now is going to work as it is stated in the horoscope. But if the person had chosen the other path, okay, I'm not going to do this, and then we know it is changeable. When something goes wrong, just think that you alone are mostly responsible for it. If not in this birth, you have been responsible for it coming from past life, based on an action. So I'll give you a very simple idea. You have the football team, you are part of the football game, and you want to play this game. This is comparable to life. Whatever happens in the game is actually what you do, and not what the audience do. Whatever is outside of the football ground, whatever is happening there is not the cause of what you're doing inside. It's just whatever you know how to play this game, whatever your habits, you have done this, you have been well trained or not, you've been so passionate about your game, everything is only you, whatever happens. Then we have the referee. Now referee, the football game, the concepts, the rules and regulations, the football ground, the earth on which the football ground is, all this is given to you by God. Only so God's role ends here. It's not coming into your game actually. So this can be easily understood by looking at the scenery of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna fights the war and Krishna is just watching, or maybe taking the person wherever he wants to go. So most people say if something goes wrong, they say it's because this planet is like this, or it is because God is doing this to me, and so on. So the mind is the main thing. And in this example, the coach has a great role to play in life, how you play this game. But even then the coach is not responsible for whatever happens to you. It's just that he did give you a lot of guidance on how to play this game, and it all depends on how much you listen and how much you practiced. So much of hard work is required. So if something goes wrong, you misbehave on the ground, the referee shows some cards, and the color of the cards keep changing. And finally, if you repeat a mistake over and over again, you are out of the game. So you can compare God like referee. So sometimes you also get some favors from God directly, because if you plead to the referee, there's a chance that he might let you go. But if you fight with the referee also, then there is not much scope. It gets actually worse. The bottom line is do meditation, find out what are the habits that you have formed as revealed by your horoscope. If you have anger combinations, if Lagna Lord is in the 8th house, you are prone to much anger. You have many combinations in astrology for which reveals anger. So anger management. Go to a guru who can tell you how to control your anger. But all this starts the moment you decide, I want to change. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm confident that there were some takeaways. And if you have anything to discuss, please type them out in the comment section, and let's discuss this together. Thank you so much. We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section, and whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.